Hello everyone, welcome back to eCommerce AI, the revenue revolution. Today we're excited to introduce to you a new face here at HawkSearch, our newest AI specialist, Alexandra McIntyre. Alexandra is a brilliant computer science major at Brown University with a passion for AI and innovation, and we're thrilled to have her helping us out. In today's episode, she will be joining our CEO, Dr. Ari Khan, to discuss her experience diving into the world of Agentic and HawkSearch, and maybe even give us a little glimpse into the next generation of tech talent. So without any further delay, I'm going to let you guys dive in.
Awesome. Thanks, Kristen. Allie, welcome.
Hi, I'm Allie. Happy to be here.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So we have been in the fastest technical revolution that I've seen in my life in marketing technology, which is probably one of the fastest moving industries. And Agentic AI is flying through the industry. Allie, you've been studying Agentic AI now. How do you even describe this thing? What is it?
Well, it's definitely been a lot to take in, for sure. It's taken a lot of just like wrapping my head around every single thing that I learned. Like, what was that? Like, rewatch that video, like write down every single thing. But it's been really cool to learn about. I honestly didn't have a great sense of what AI was for a long time. Like, obviously I've heard it been thrown around ever since like 2020 when everyone started talking about it and ChatGPT became a big thing. But I think I've gotten a lot better, or I should have a good sense of it now. Agentic AI is just a certain form of AI where we use an LLM, these large language models, and instead of just getting a response out of it or just like a chatbot, the AI will actually go in and do something on its own, and it gets a lot more autonomy that way. And it's really cool, and it's going to change and shape a huge part of the software business.
That action is a really interesting part of it, where, I think of the word agent and I think of agency, and the ability to act is, relatively new in terms of the technology. What are like the kind of actions that an agentic AI system might perform?
Yeah, well, as you told me, it's important to separate the action from the agent. Learn that from the best. But some actions that are the most commonly used one that everyone's talking about is just like a customer service agent. Like if you want to cancel a travel plan, like your agent will go in and do that without a person having to actually be there. But specifically for the software industry, I think it's becoming very popular and very helpful for agents to go in and actually like manage some of the products, like be able to track data and either push certain products to the top that are being seen more often, or things that need to be advertised that agent can go in and say, oh, like this isn't getting sold that much, let's push it, let's try to advertise this and push this on our customers. And I think that's a really helpful way that Agentic can be used to benefit customers at Bridgeline.
Even in the AI world where so much stuff is a black box, it's important to still architecturally, as you're implementing things, to have a level of separation, at least of the major components that are in any system, even if there's this magical LLM happening in the background that is making amazing decisions, not really decisions, but anyways, performing amazing tasks. What are some of the major components in an agentic architecture?
Yeah, well, it's a very complicated system, but I think the important thing for Agentic AI is that you can construct it. You tell your agent exactly what to do in each scenario. Like, it's not just a free-for-all, like the agent just decides on its own. When you create an agent, you have to give it a certain set of instructions. It's like rules. Don't do this. Like, take data from this data set, or at least that's how you should if you want it to be separate and controlled in this environment. But the specific one that the model of Agentic AI that I've looked in for Bridgeline has been Amazon Bedrock, which has a couple different phases of how the agent works. There's the pre-processing, where the agent takes in the user's input, and it's going to take it and embed it into a vector, which is how the LLM will be able to translate what the user is saying. And then it's going to go into whatever database you're using, and it's going to compare that vector to all the data in your database. And then once it has that query that it's ready to send into your tailored LLM or whatever model you want to choose for your agent, it's going to go in and formally like send in that query like you would a chatbot. But then this chatbot is an agentic chatbot, so it has the ability to go in and take the action that you want it to take. So that agent is then going to process its initial instructions that it was given, the information that it got from the database, the user input, and then from there it has a certain set of actions that it can take, and the agent is going to decide what the best action is given all of those factors. And if the agent decides that it doesn't know what to do yet, or it doesn't have enough parameters to take a certain action, it can circle back and reprompt the user, say, hey, I think you forgot, like, not you think you forgot, but can you tell me, like, how many products you wanted me to return for this, or you forgot, like, what date and time you were searching for. And then once it has all the parameters it needs, it can finally output the correct output. And if it's authorized to take the action, it'll go in and take the action and push that product to the top or do whatever you plan the agent to do.
That iterative capability is interesting, where
Yeah.
it requests clarifying information or additional information to make decisions.
Yeah.
In the Hawk search world, you're going to have data stores. Those will have two different types of information. They're going to have the product catalog, but they'll also have analytics on website performance. We're going to have a REST API that allows you to configure Hawk Search and tell Hawk Search, I think you use an example, boosting a product towards the top of the search result. And then somewhere in the midst of these two capabilities lives this agent that I guess is going to be observing this data, performing these actions,
Yes.
and asking these clarifying questions.
Yeah. It's a really, really cool thing to think about. But yeah, I think it's also important that to emphasize the fact that the agentic AI isn't replacing anyone necessarily. It's just augmenting what's already there, making certain jobs easier, but not by any means replacing the jobs of real people.
That's important. You know, a few minutes ago, I don't know if it was purposeful or not, but you used the term tailored, tailored LLM. And I think that tailored approach, in meaning that rather than replacing people, because people are still relevant, but augmenting them and allowing them to, to still be part of the decision process, and they can decide how much to automate is the right way to implement agents, not just today, but probably for a very long time. That just like you wouldn't hire somebody and just tell them to go do a job and then never check on them or participate with them. I think that agents need to be part of the team as opposed to a replacement for that team.
I agree, for sure.
So, so you mentioned AWS. Are there any other agent systems out there that should be on people's radar?
There's a ton. If you look into it, I was reading an article and it's like there's already 36 top vendors. They're selling all these agents already. I'm like, all right, like it's pretty fast.
Yeah, and 36 top vendors. Like, okay, there was like maybe one or two or three top vendors. It is a fast-moving industry.
Yeah.
Salesforce has always been very big in MarTech and pushing the envelope in a lot of ways. Do they have initiatives here?
Yeah, Salesforce was I think like the first result when you search up like agentic AI vendors. And that confused me at first because I wasn't very familiar with Salesforce when I first started researching. So I was like, oh, this is cool, like agentic AI software. But then it's less like, I don't know. We walked through like creating an agentic workflow through Salesforce, and their agents do work. I just don't know if they are best suited for especially Bridgeline and like software companies.
Oh, the Salesforce guy's gonna come and get you.
I don't know. Don't come for me. But I don't know.
I think that one of the key things is the action group itself that an agent needs to invoke. Well, first of all, agents have to be able to operate effectively, but if they can't, if an agent can't have a well-defined domain with specific actions that it can perform, then I think that Salesforce, for example, or any of these ends up confined in terms of the value it could really add to anyone. So HawkSearch, for instance, would need to make sure that Salesforce can invoke its critical actions, like the boost example. What are some use cases that in the HawkSearch world, for example, that might be specific areas that agents could be implemented?
Well, this was definitely a debated topic for a while, but I think we've been able to narrow it down to like 3 main groups with like each having a couple different uses. The ones that we talked about were an agent that can create content, and in that sense, like going into certain products, if certain products don't have like enough information to be presented well on a website, the agent can go through and fill in those blanks for it. Another agent we talked about was a synonym generator agent, which this one seems the coolest to me. It's a lot of problems when customers are searching online is if they search for a word and no results show up. That means that something's wrong with their search engine, especially if that same word is getting searched and by multiple customers and still nothing's coming up. That means like your customers are looking for something that clearly doesn't exist or isn't being shown by your search engine, so that has to be fixed. So what the agent here can do is query an API that's can be called bad search results, and it will give you, based on a certain threshold of how many results do you think is considered bad. Like if this word is searched 5 times in a week and nothing shows up, you're going to want to tell the agent. So the agent will be like, this word has no results, but 5 people are trying to search it. Let's try to see if we can come up with any synonyms that would have good search results for that. And the agent, we have on HawkSearch a synonym generator for any word. So HawkSearch would run that, or the agent would run that through its action group, and then collect those synonyms. And then it could, instead of doing it automatically, it would just send maybe an email to one of the merchandisers saying, hey, here are some suggested synonyms for this word. See if you want to update those, or if these are bad, then you're going to have to fix it yourself because there's clearly an issue here. And if the employee says, oh, these are good words, this sounds good, authorize, the agent will go in and update the synonyms automatically, which is really cool. And then one more idea we were having for an agent would be an automatic booster buried, or probably boost, where the agent could track click-through data, and if certain products are being bought a lot, the agent could automatically go in and boost that product so more people buy it. Or if there's certain inventory, not restrictions, but if there's excess inventory for a certain product, the agent can say, this needs to be bought more, let's push it, and then boost that product automatically, which could be really helpful.
Yeah. In both these cases, those are activities that I think the merchandisers who are managing HawkSearch perform on a regular basis.
Yes.
And now they could automate that with an agent and then spend their time doing more complicated things and discovering new activities that should be performed, but that they hadn't realized should be, and then they could agentize those. Agentize, maybe that would be
Yeah.
agentize those.
I mean, new terms are getting coined every day. Might as well
Why not?
get it started.
One of the things that's very important is that the whole world of agentic AI is evolving very quickly.
Yeah.
And there's so many different things that can be done with agentic AI, that just organizing a team, picking the particular use cases that you want to solve, and building out that architecture to be general enough to do those, but not so general that it's unusable because you need to be a computer scientist to just do anything.
Yeah.
That's a balancing act, and that's one of the biggest challenges that I think many companies in the industry is going to be confronting over the upcoming years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. In terms of agents, and people talk about LLMs, for example, how does all that come together?
I think a huge part of AI getting discussed in general is people just like to vocab drop. They'll say like, oh, vector, like LLM, AI, and then like expect like, I don't know, like candy point. Like you know what AI is, but a lot of people don't really know exactly what it means even. They're just trying to say LLM so that the customer is like, oh, they're using AI. Like their product must be better than everyone else's. But LLMs are definitely important to agentic AI. They're built into it. You get to choose like an LLM to support your agent.
Yeah.
But they're by no means like an agent themselves, because LLMs don't learn. They have to be trained. They can't like learn new things, and they can't do anything. All they do is output a response. Like if you ask an LLM what time it is, it doesn't really know because it can't have any access to real-time data.
That's really important information, right? So people, oh, LLM is this magic thing, right? So agentics are really more like workflows. LLM can create the workflow.
Yeah.
And you can have this iterative process that refines the prompt that tells the LLM which workflow to create. And that workflow may invoke actions. But the LLM is really the historical knowledge and the really the ability to just take a prompt and create an output, which in this case is sort of the agentic workflow. So that clarifies things significantly. Awesome. Cool. All right. Awesome. Well, the world of agentic AI is evolving very quickly. It's going to be defined by the young computer scientists at Brown University and the other great universities as well. So stay tuned, because this is chapter 0 in a very interesting novel.
Yes, great job, guys. Great job, Allie. It was great having you on. And thank you, everybody, for watching. And we will see you next time. Bye.